Nissan has had offerings in the EV space for some time, so they are at the tech front as a Japanese company, but when it comes to infotainment systems, they always trip over themselves. So this is a detailed look at Nissan's infotainment system in the Pathfinder. So it's an 8-inch unit, it's a colour touchscreen as well, so you can either touch the screen or use this controller down here. That's a volume knob or a zoom knob depending on the context, plus a directional controller with an enter button in the center. Unfortunately, the infotainment system isn't very good, but I'll walk you through it now anyway, just so you can get a feel for it, and then we'll chat about the features that it's missing. First button here is camera. This brings up the 360-degree camera. This camera is pretty bad. Right now, there is perfect light outside, and you can't tell any detail here at all. When it gets to nighttime, you just can't see anything, and it kind of defeats the purpose of actually having a camera. I say this all the time, I don't understand why manufacturers can't just buy high definition camera and put it in the car so you have a quality camera on display here. But anyway, there's a separate menu for climate. There is climate controls down the bottom, but this displays the temperature, allows you to select rear climate and then further customize things if you don't want to use the controls down the bottom. Then we have the audio menu. In here you have a selection of AM, FM, you can play a CD, Bluetooth audio streaming, USB, iPod and auxiliary as well. Unfortunately though, you won't find any Apple CarPlay or any Android Auto here, which is incredibly disappointing for this segment. The apps menu is interesting. They have something called an app garage, and in there you can download apps to install to the car. As you can see, it's not the quickest system in the world. It takes a little while to load. You have about 1 gigabyte of data space available to install your apps, but none of the apps are really that useful. And by the time you get them installed, open them, they're kind of redundant. So it is a handy feature to have, and I'm sure it was modern a few years ago, but times have moved on and stuff like this is kind of redundant now. Another bugbear here is navigation. It seems that all of the functions that you need to access regularly, they're all just nested in menus and require a long time to actually achieve what you're trying to do. So for example, if we want to go here to a street, I'm going to put in the town first. We'll type in Melbourne, select Melbourne, then we're going to put a street in, then a number, and then finally you're presented with the option to select it. The problem here is in most other cars, you simply hit the voice recognition button and then just word out exactly where you want to go. This does nothing on the nav front. So if I press that, it gives me options for the phone or for doing other sort of minor things, but there's no option to actually read out a nav address. So that is incredibly frustrating, and it means that if you do need to do anything while you're driving, you have to pull over because it's the only real safe way to do it. The map display isn't actually too bad, and it's quite quick and responsive, so zooming in and out all happens fairly easily. It's just a basic map display there. It comes with traffic overlays, so it will tell you where you've got traffic hotspots and it will guide you around them if required. The status menu is simply what's going on with climate and radio. Info, this is where you'll find things like fuel economy and your economy driving report. So it tells you how you've been doing. You can reset that and log it for future drives. And then you've got other things like your traffic information and then map information as well, because it is all loaded into the car. There's no CarPlay or third-party services, so everything has to be loaded into the car. Finally, you have settings. So this is where you can configure all the functions of the car. Again, there's nothing too fancy in here. Very basic adjustments for clock and other nav functions as well. So that is Nissan's infotainment system. If you are buying a car in this segment, I'd probably look elsewhere if infotainment or technology is at the forefront, because Nissan is still quite far behind. That is until new models come, so there are new models of the X-Trail and Pathfinder coming. Let us know in the comments below whether you own a Nissan, and let us know if there are any redeeming features here of the infotainment system and what you love or hate about it. Post that all in the comments below.